Good to see you. This is Global News Morning. It's that time of year. Schools are closing up. Queen's, St. Lawrence College, RMC, almost done with their school year, and that means a lot of students heading out, and a lot of investment properties need maintaining throughout the spring and the summer months. Please join me in welcoming our good friend Matt Lee with some tips on summer
Yeah.
and spring maintenance for these properties. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Always doing good. Yeah, a busy
Good.
time of year for investment properties.
Yeah. We live in a town where, a city that, you do own investment properties. That people do have those Queens rentals. They do have those St. Lawrence rentals. And, we have this is the time of year where people do pack up. Some stay, like there's no question about it. I mean, they do have jobs here, but I mean, there is a bit of that turnover where people are going home. And if you own that property, maybe it's time to go by after everybody's gone home and we start looking at exterior maintenance, and we'll talk about things to check on the interior of the house because we want to keep your investment at the top value that you possibly can.
So taking care of it while no one's there, it's the perfect time.
That's correct. Yes, absolutely. So we own investments, and this is, when we start to look in the springtime, the first thing we start with is tree trimming. So
Hmm.
if you have trees that kind of lean over close to the house, the squirrels, the raccoons, animals are going to get onto the roof and they're going to cause damage. They're going to go into the soffits, they're going to go into places. So what we do is we talk to tree trimming companies, and we get that bulb kind of pushed back so that no animal can get on the roof or get onto the spot of the property that might cause damage.
Yeah, rodents, raccoons, squirrels, cute, but they can cause a lot of damage.
That's correct. Yeah, they could get into the attic, and we don't want that to happen. If you were to do something to, we do see a lot of sand and salt throughout the winter that are on the roads, and now that it's starting to dry out, you are going to see a lot of dust. So, the thought of maybe when you're maintaining the house, I find that everything gets maintained a little bit better. So if you wash the windows, you wash the house, it might be a good idea. Just everybody keeps the upkeep a little bit better. Garbage maintenance. I mean, when people move out of a house and they are going home, their garbage bins are going to be full. Maybe it's not the day of the garbage collection, or maybe there's a box spring, or maybe there's different things. The city of Kingston is going to come around and give you a warning, but before then, drive by the property, go do a walk around, get all of that out of there, because if you don't get the garbage out of there, if there's rodents that are around, they're going to come to that garbage. So let's keep that away from your own property, and then the value will stay up if you don't have to deal with that stuff.
You might have to take a run to the dump.
That's right. And it's okay to do a dump run, get everything cleaned up and taken care of. There's companies that will come. If you only have a car and you don't feel like putting that in, there are companies in town that will come to you.
Hmm.
Um, so window maintenance, screens are a big thing. If you have screens and say somebody's left the window open this much, but there's no screen in the window, it could cause damage. And again, we have companies in town that will maintain, screen repair. I think it's a good idea to have the screens repaired and ready to go, because you want to make sure that nothing gets into the property as well. Cleaning gutters is actually more of a, we're going to see some rain coming in, right? We're going to see the rain over the next little while. We're going into spring, and you're going to have these heavy downpours. If your gutters are full and the trees have been hanging over and the leaves have filled up, that water is going to sit there and is either going to cause damage, as in the eaves trough could come off. Water could backtrack. It's just none of it's good. So, I mean, what I would say is if you can clean the eaves trough yourself or have a company come in and do it, it's a good idea so that you don't have any damage to the property. Get that water down and away from the house. So, you're going to talk about building the dirt up, and you're going to making sure that if the driveway is asphalt up to the side of the house, you want to make sure that everything's caulked properly, or tarred, I guess, and then basically get that away from the house as much as possible. And then servicing the air conditioner, furnace, and boiler system. I mean, I think that this is a good time. They're not there, checking the batteries and the thermostats, making sure that the carbon monoxide detectors are working. Inspecting for mold and water damage. It's one of these things that I think that if you own the property, it's best to walk through the house, maybe go into the second floor and have a look, because somebody might say, oh yeah, we've seen that spot there for a couple months, but it didn't mean anything to us because we didn't see any further damage. if you walk through the house and you see a stain, maybe it's time to get somebody in to have a look at it, because it's just making sure that nothing goes too far.
Preventative measures so there's no major headaches later.
Yeah, exactly. It might cost you this much now, but it might cost you a lot more later. And I think that if we can get ahead of it, then it's the perfect time to do it. So that's fixing any leaks. Um, if you have, if you're including which you are probably including your fridge, stove, washer, dryer as part of the rental, you want to make sure that they're working too. So maybe if you walk in and you flip the stove on and you test all the elements, and maybe if you ask the tenants before they leave if the washer and dryer were working properly, and if not, maybe have a company come in and check them to make sure that they're up and ready to go for September. And then you have nothing to worry about then. And the last thing is I would basically say, if you're getting ready for a turnover, so like we've done everything we can as the in between. Say that the tenants are going home, but they're coming back and they're going to do another year. You've done everything that you possibly can going through this list. I think that if you're having a turnover and you're going to have new people coming in and you're renting, clean the carpets, maybe clean the ductwork if there's ductwork, because some have boiler systems downtown. A lot do, because it's older part of the city. You want to talk about paint and wall repair. If you take care of your property to the best of your ability, everyone else will too. So I think that if you have the garbage set up properly, everything looks neat and tidy, and the house is crisp and clean, you'll thank yourself later.
Always excellent advice. Matt Lee, we thank you
Great.
so much. You be well and stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.